Hi everyone, welcome to Gilbhub TV. Today I'm going to do a theatre review on video. Now some of you will know that I do theatre reviews regularly for Everything Theatre. This is not part of Everything Theatre, this is just a show that I went to see and I thought I would do a review for it. So this is going to be a review of Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance Dangerous Games, which I saw at the Dominion Theatre last week. Now the first thing to say about this, perhaps unsurprisingly, is that the dancing is absolutely amazing. I had seen Riverdance before, which is obviously the other one that Michael Flatley is really well known for, and bits of Lord of the Dance, and I hadn't seen them live, I'd only seen them on video. And honestly, if I hadn't seen this with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. The talent is absolutely phenomenal. You've never seen Irish dancing or tap dancing like it. It's just flawless. The guys are so fast, so perfectly synchronised, and so in time with the music that their tap shoes basically sound like part of the soundtrack. It is absolutely spot on. So that was really, really impressive. This performance, the actual Lord, as he's called, was James Keegan, I believe. It wasn't Michael Flatley, although it is Michael Flatley's production. But James is very much the protege of Michael Flatley. The style is all there. It's really kind of talented, but also just a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky, but in a good way. Real kind of showmanship, really fun to watch, really, really entertaining. So he did a great job. I'm sure the other two that I didn't actually see do great jobs as well of being Lord and filling in the somewhat prestigious shoes of Michael Flatley. The show has an easy to follow narrative. It's a basic good versus evil kind of plot that runs through it. And I thought that was really nice because it wasn't just straight dancing. For me, honestly, the dancing probably would have been enough. But with the storyline, it kind of gave you something to follow and it gave you kind of a cliffhanger at the interval and then it all kind of resolved at the end. And it was really nice. It was really, really easy because obviously there's not a lot of talking, there's not a lot of dialogue. In fact, I think there's virtually none apart from perhaps a voiceover at the start. So the dancing was enough to keep it going, and obviously with the visuals and the costumes and the set design, that really kind of gave a feel for the story, so it was really nice and easy to follow. Another thing which was quite nice about it was they kind of mixed things up a bit. So traditionally, things like Riverdance, from what I remember, was very kind of traditional Irish dancing. You had the traditional Irish dresses and the music and the dance, and it was all kind of what you would expect from that kind of performance. This, they kind of mixed it up a bit. They had a bit of a Cirque du Soleil kind of feel to it. There was a nymph character that was all glittery and kind of came on and did gymnastics and things in between and kind of took the story through, very much like you normally get a main character in Cirque du Soleil that kind of is the audience perspective following through. So they had that, and they also had some new twists. So some of the numbers were performed by people dressed as robots. Some of them were kind of gothic, almost steampunk kind of look. Some of them were kind of sexy. There was like a sexy kind of element to it, which was a bit different, a bit new. But then they also had the traditional Irish, in a straight line, doing all the tippy-tappy bits in synchronisation, just as you would expect. And some of the classic kind of moves, like cannon down the line and back again. All the kind of stuff that you would expect if you were going there. So if you're the kind of person who really enjoys this kind of dancing, loves the work of Michael Flatley, loved Riverdance, then you're going to love this. It's going to have everything that you're expecting, but also some new twists as well. The production values are also really, really high for this show. So it's got a kind of technology, kind of techno theme to it, and also a bit of kind of mystery and mystique and legend and those kind of themes. So it's really nicely married. And they've got that in the costumes, they've got it in the special effects, they've got it in the backdrop. They have like a digital backdrop on the stage which changes with different, I don't know if it was projections or if it was just a digital screen, but they had some really, really beautiful graphics in the background and it changed to kind of fit the different scenes as it went through the narrative. And that was really, really nice as well because it was just enough to keep things really alive and really high energy, but it didn't detract from the dancing, which is obviously what you're there to see. So it had a really nice kind of professional look to it, but the stage wasn't cluttered with loads and loads of bits of set. It was just there for the dancing. One other thing which really stood out to me was the gauze at the very front of the stage. So if you're familiar with theatre, you know that there's a kind of a stiff curtain which comes down at the front, which is semi-see-through, and quite often, depending on where the light is shining, you'll see either what's happening on the stage or you'll see what's on the front of the gauze. And they used this in a really, really interesting way in Lord of the Dance. So at the very beginning, for example, they had this countdown, which was kind of all about the world tour and building up the excitement around the show before it started. And they were projecting dates and sold out and all kinds of things onto this gauze. And it was projecting onto the gauze, but it was also shining through it. And what it did was create this 3D effect. So it was almost like watching a 3D cinema film, but it was obviously live. And then the people could kind of come and interact with that on the stage, and the effect was just really, really cool. One thing I wasn't expecting was Erin the Goddess, which is a singer character that comes in between the different dance numbers. And for the show that I saw, she was played by Nadine from Girls Aloud, and she was a fantastic singer and very glamorous and kind of really fitted in visually with the rest of the show. I would say that for me it was a little bit of a slow moment going through the musical numbers, just because the dancing was such high energy and the music numbers were kind of ballad-like, a lot of them. And really, you know, going there for a dance show, I was there to see the dancing. So when the singing came on, I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, okay, this is nice, but you know, let's get back to the dancing, because that's what was really, really exciting for me. Having said that, I would say that it did create a nice flow of the show. I think if it had been constantly high energy, dance, 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 then it would have been perhaps a little bit too much. So although it was a bit of a slower pace, I think it was actually quite a nice sort of punctuation for the show. So then when the dancers came back on, it was really exciting again. So if you are a fan of dancing at all, particularly high energy, exciting dancing, then I would definitely advise going to see Lord of the Dance Dangerous Games. It's a really, really fun show, really engaging. I was literally leaning forward in my seat the whole way through. So even if you haven't seen Riverdance or you haven't seen Lord of the Dance before and it's not necessarily your thing, I would still give this one a try. If you're going to try a dance show of this sort, then this is definitely the one to see. I believe the show is on in the West End of London until the 5th of September, and it's also going on a world tour currently. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully there's one near you. If you're in the UK, then London is obviously the place to go to see it. And yeah, I will put links below, and I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you get a chance to catch this. Really, really great show.